welcome to the 2023 Family Education Day. Thank you all so much for being here and spending your Saturday with us. And I am very grateful that we got to hug each other. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten some of the best hugs, throughout my career here, but definitely today. So it's so fabulous to see all of you here and spend time with each other. So today we're going to talk about family. It's called Family Services Panel, but basically this is talking about resources that are for you guys, the families that are impacted by Huntington's disease. So we have an array of panelists, which I will introduce. And this is interactive, so if you guys have something that you want to add, include, a resource that's worked really well for you, whatever it is, an experience, please raise your hand and let me know, and we would love to hear from you. All right. Dawn. I'm so confused today. I had Dawn Green in one of my other panels. Now I have Dawn Foster. So this is Dawn. She is an HD care partner, a board member, and an extreme wonderful advocate for the HD community. We have Ellie. Please wait. We have Ellie. She's our fabulous HD social worker, or one of the two fabulous HD social workers at the Kaiser Center of Excellence. She also facilitates our California Bereavement Support Group. If you need a list of support groups that we have available, they're outside. We have Kay. Hi, Kay. She is an HD person. She is a retired medical professional and also an extreme HD advocate. And I made her sit on 2 panels today, so give her a break.
I got a soda at lunch.
Oh, yay. So Kay, thank you for being here. I am Lisa Mooney. I am, it says monitor, but moderator. Oh my God, what's happening? Okay, I'm the HD social worker, we'll just say for Northern California. We have Zeph. I always say her name wrong. Zephyr? Zephyr. Yeah. He is a Stanford student. Smarty pants, and a HOPES volunteer. HOPE stands for Huntington's
Outreach Program for Education at Stanford.
Perfect. And HOPES was created by students at Stanford to help educate the community and HD families and provide resources for them. So he's here. He's also a board member and represents HOPES on the chapter board. So we're going to go down the line. Ellie, I'm sorry I'm picking on you because you sat in that chair. So please share a little bit about who you are, what I haven't already told, and how you're connected to HD and whatever you're comfortable sharing just about why you're here and what brought you here.
Sure. I'm the medical social worker for the movement disorder clinic at Kaiser, but there's other clinics that I follow as well, working with neurology. I offer resources, many times counseling services, and I help facilitate the bereavement group, and big advocate for the HD community. My daughter is one of the youth groups there for Huntington, so I follow her. And any other resources, issues, concerns, sky's the limit, I tell people, and people do call me. And sky is the limit, so they ask lots of other questions. That's it.
Thank you. Now Dawn, same questions for you. Who you are, how you're connected to HD, anything you want to share with the group.
Our daughter tested positive for Huntington's in 2007 because of an adoption. Neither one of us have it. That was when we joined the first support group, and I think it was in 2011, 2012, I became president of the chapter and have continued to work here. Although our daughter lives in Georgia with her husband, we talk to her every day. She was a RN, and she's not working now. She has Korea, but we are very connected to her and her family, even though we're 3,000 miles away.
Okay, you're next.
Hi. I come from a family with a long history of Huntington's, and so my mom and grandmother and great-grandmother, so I grew up very aware of the diagnosis and aware of the risk of having Huntington's. My mom tested positive before she was symptomatic, and she moved up to California from Iowa to live with me after she was done caring for her mom and her dad who had a stroke. So she had a lot of caregiving activity. And so she lived with us here in California and helped to raise my kids and enjoyed her life before she became more symptomatic. And so I helped to take care of her. I took a couple of years off from work to be able to spend more time with her. And then went back to work as an OBGYN physician at Kaiser down in the South Bay in Santa Clara. I'm currently off work, so I got diagnosed a couple of years ago. After my mom died, I decided it was time to find out if I was positive or not, and unfortunately got a positive result. And so, and right around that time, I also started noticing some early cognitive changes that impacted my ability to work as a physician. So I've been on medical leave for about a year and a half or so. I miss it, but I'm really grateful for the fantastic career that I had. Some of the other things I did as a physician included teaching medical providers how to communicate and have empathy with patients. It was a really important part of my job. And I also worked in the ethics service, and so I helped to deal with ethical conflicts and know a lot about disability rights and other issues with patients. So a lot of things that were very interesting to me, but also give me a lot of different perspectives when it comes to thinking about Huntington's. I got divorced in the middle of all of that and have a new love. So my wife of a couple of years, Shelley, is here with me. We're figuring all of this out together. And I have a couple of kids who are college age and at risk. And they're a fantastic part of my life, so glad to be here.
And shout out to Shelley. I've been here, I only met her today, and she's been my right-hand right-hand woman, all day long. All right, Supper.
Yeah, I'm Supper. I'm a student at Stanford. As Lisa mentioned, I'm one of the co-leads of HOPES, along with Kat, who's somewhere here. So a little about HOPES. It started in the year 2000 with a faculty member and some students at the time who noticed that there was a flurry of scientific research about Huntington's, but there was a big gap in translating that into a medium that's accessible for the general public. And so 19 years later, I come along, there's this huge resource that people before me have made. I come into Stanford, my grandmother had Alzheimer's and passed away, so I was interested in being involved in neurodegenerative disorders in general. I got on, and ever since I've been involved with people at the NorCal chapter, people at the Bay Area affiliate, now chapter. I've done walks. And through all this involvement, I've come to love the HD community, and I think it's just a testament to the resources and the people that are here. And I care so much about a disease that doesn't directly affect me at all, and so just kudos to all of you guys.
Thank you. Okay, so what are HD Family Services? Everything. There's support groups for you. There's HD specific support groups. There's all different kinds of support groups out there. We offer HD support groups. Most of them currently are on Zoom. We are trying to get some of the ones that were in person pre-pandemic back in person post-pandemic. It just is taking some time to find new venues and details you don't need to know. But anyways, we're working on that. But right now they're all available via Zoom. And if you look out on the UC Davis table or the Northern California chapter table, or in your little goodie bags in the folder, there's a where to find HD resources, and on the back has all the support groups we offer here in California, as well as a link to the national support groups. I think there's 9 of those a month. There's some specific to caregivers, some specific to those that are gene expanded, some specific to those that are at risk, all kinds. So lots of information. If you need support, there's tons of support out here. Obviously you have these 4 people, myself included, but you also have support groups. Information education. You're participating in one of our family services right now. So we do offer information education. During the pandemic, they were available via Zoom. And now we're in person again, yay, we can have hugs. Okay, we also do fundraising and advocacy. We'll talk a little bit about that, but we have Team Hope walks and golf events, wine and cheese events. We have young adults, Aisley, her daughter, who did a high school
Senior project.
thank you, senior project of youth that were singing, and it was amazing. There's opportunities to volunteer, so if you guys want to be a volunteer, find Dawn Doster or Dawn Green, and let them know, and we can, we'll figure out what you want to do. If you have a specific skill set you want to share and contribute, we would love to have you part of our chapter community. There's always community connections and fostering hope, and then we'll talk about contacts and resources. Okay, support groups. This is what we have. I already told you all this because I don't follow my slides apparently, but it's a great way to connect with other people in your community that are in a similar situation. So a lot of you are familiar faces in here. I've seen you at different support groups. So thank you for attending, and hopefully you have good experiences. Hello, I saw you walk in. Didn't get to hug you. Okay, Ellie, what's your experience with support groups?
They're fantastic. Everybody, even people that were saying, oh, I don't know if it's for me. Oh, I don't like being in a group setting. Just try it, and then some of the people that didn't want to do it started going to the groups during pandemic because they felt like they didn't have to really be there physically. And now they're like, oh, when is it going to be in person? So they find it very helpful. And a lot of people don't go to just one. There's a caregivers per group, which is really important, but there's people that are affected with HD, and even the bereavement group. We've even had someone that was interested in the bereavement group and said, no one has passed away, but I'm grieving the fact that people in my family have HD. So we welcome that too in the group, as that's just as important. But I think it's extremely helpful. Everyone feels a sense of being connected, and some people have their own set of groups, meet outside of the group setting, become friends and connect, and it's been helpful.
Oh, one more question for you. You answered all of them. Facebooks or social media groups, do you think they're helpful? Do you have recommendations?
Yeah, I think they're helpful. I mean, no one's come up to me and said, yeah, we don't like it. Because there's so many there that if you don't like one, you just go to another. I sign up for everything from every country in the United States, so people are like, oh, you're from California. But people love it because, again, it's also by age. There's even groups for kids, and within the groups for kids, there's ages there. There's a gathering just to talk about if you're in college and you have HD or you're thinking about testing. There's tons out there. So I find it helpful, and everyone else does too.
Yes, another way to stay connected, just remember, support group via Facebook, social media, in person, on video. You'll get lots of recommendations. Obviously, if someone wants to recommend medication or different treatment options, consult with your doctor and your teams first, okay? People have lots of opinions about what works and what doesn't. You got to figure out what's going to work for you. So thank you, Ellie.
Yes.
Dawn, what's your experience with support groups? Do you find it helpful, pros and cons? And do you recommend local groups or national groups?
Oh my, do I miss Lisa's group of being live. In 2007, when our daughter tested positive for Huntington's, I just knew I'd have the answer. I can be a little bit anal, so I was going everywhere telling her I was taking her to Europe and all sorts of things I wanted to do, and cried a lot. And she called her dad and said, you've got to get Mom off my back. And so I went to the support group, the in-person support group, in December of that year. And as I told someone, Lori, today, I went in, and Ron didn't go because he said, all you do is cry. And I went in, I did a lot of crying, but I found a place. See, I'm real emotional about this. I love that support group, and I hope we can have it in person again, because at that support group, we would have a big meeting of everybody, both the patients or the people with Huntington's and families, and then we would break and be two different groups. I just say 100% for support groups, and you can say it, and we are still members of that support group from 2007. I'm not really big at social media.
You might be the longest standing support group member, actually.
Maybe.
Longer than me, as a matter of fact.
And Ron, it was in December of 2007, and then that next month, Ron went with me, and I don't think we've always been together. He's never missed. So it was good for both of us. We learned so many things, and I'm just 100% for that.
Thank you, Dawn. Can you pass it to Kay? Kay, what is your experience with support groups? Do you find it helpful? Pros and cons? Do you recommend groups, video groups, in-person groups? What's your feeling about Facebook, social media groups?
I am currently participating in 2 different support groups. Both are currently online, but one was previously in person. So I'm a participant in the California HD positive group, which we started, I guess, this past year, right? And I've really liked having a focused group of people who really understand what's going on and are very comfortable with all of the issues, and to have a chance to really talk in depth about what the experience of having Huntington's is like. So I would be pro support group. And then the other group is different, right? Because it's constituted, it's like this bigger family. It has, just like yours, ours in Palo Alto has people who are affected, family members, people who are involved in providing support or involved in care, and it just helps everybody stay connected with each other as human beings, with the learnings that we have about Huntington specifically, and also just the community and the events and everything that's going on. Because there's so much that one person can't really keep track of everything, but we all help to remind each other. And we know with Huntington's, right, it's hard if you're affected to remember everything that's said at a meeting, for example, or somebody may not be as good at writing things down or typing an email, and so we support each other in being able to forward information, and it's really comfortable to say, I'm not going to remember that, can you shoot me an email or a text or something with information? And so I think it's a very specific kind of support that it doesn't happen in other places specifically. So I really appreciate that. I was nervous, right? Like, even though I'm very in favor of support groups, when I tested positive and came back to be a participant, it was really kind of nerve-wracking, right? I didn't know how I was going to show up. It was Zoom at that point, and I didn't know how well I would communicate on Zoom. I was having a harder time tracking multiple lines of discussion, and what multiple speakers was hard for me to track. And I just was very nervous. But I'm glad I went, and I'm glad I continued, and it really feels like family. So, pro.
Thank you so much.
And it's social,
go ahead.
In person, I don't have an in-person group right now, but I really value the different, you can be with people very differently when it's in person, and so I'm really looking forward to a time when we can have in-person groups.
And do you participate in any Facebook or social media, or no?
I don't at all. It just, it's out of my,
Not your thing.
Not my
That's
thing.
totally fine. It's okay. Zephyr, so you have a different perspective because you're not from a family, but you have sat in on, I think, several, but definitely the Palo Alto support group. So from your perspective, what is your experience like, and has it been a good experience, not so good? Anyways, share your experiences.
So I don't want to beat it dead horse here, but I'm very pro support group. I'll try to add some more nuance onto that. So the Hopes has been lucky enough to have a great relationship with the Palo Alto support group. So we're always invited to the meetings, and we've always tried to have at least someone there present. And we've gotten some of our best ideas for podcasts and articles from that support group. And so just sitting in personally, and what I've heard from my teammates is just, there's all different types of benefits that support groups can provide, and it depends on what you're looking for. There's been people who go to these support groups that are, grieving a recent passing or a recent diagnosis, and they're like, specifically, I want support on this one thing, and then the whole group is able to kind of share their experiences and grief with that person, and it provides a very nice environment conducive to that. There's also people that I guess traditionally called lurkers, but I hate that term because it just sounds dirty. But there's people who prefer to they're like, I don't really want to talk, I just want to listen, I just want to be here. And for them, it's just as helpful. It provides a lot of emotional support, which is, of course, needed. And so the nuance I want to add here, other than saying, yes, it's great, we need more of them, is I think we need more investment into more different types of them. So there's, the bereavement ones, the, ones where it's more just like a community of people talking about things that they're both, whether it's HD or just, what did you do today? And I think there's different issues that different subsections of people face. So, there's caretakers, there's people who are later stage HD, there's people who had just got a diagnosis, and I think there needs to be, more stratification in what kinds of support groups are offered. And in terms of online versus in person, I never went to the Palo Alto one when it was in person, but Lauren, who's the previous co-lead, went and had a very personal relationship. And I think when I went over the pandemic to Zoom, I think a lot of the personal connections, if they weren't already there, are a lot harder, but definitely possible to maintain in an online format. But on the flip side, the online format gives, it's a lot easier for people to join who are newer, and people with HD, it's oftentimes kind of difficult to travel. People who aren't in the immediate area, they can't regularly travel to meetings. So I think Zoom and other platforms gives an opportunity for more people to participate.
Thank you so very much.
One
Oh.
suggestion, just for
Go ahead.
a topic for an additional support group, would be end-of-life issues, sort of preparing advance directive and dealing with end-of-life, both for people who are affected and families. So sort of rather than just a presentation, but an ongoing discussion as a support group.
Contact me after. Okay, these are the support groups. Who knew I had these on here? Because obviously I still don't follow my thing. So you can use the QR codes, hopefully, to link to sign up or register. Most of these just require registration once. These are our national support groups that are about 9, so they're always going to be video because you're not going to meet up with someone in New York unless you fly a plane like Ned. But the El Cerrito support group is for caregivers only, but they do invite Huntington's persons and spouses of those caregivers a few times a year. And then we have another online, it's going to remain online, HD support person, Northern California group. So that's our caregiver, care partner groups. And these are the HD person groups that Kay was referring to. And then we have our bereavement support group as well that Ellie was referring to. And then these are for any persons impacted by Huntington's disease. So if you have Huntington's, if you're at risk for Huntington's, you're gene expanded, gene negative, care for someone, love someone with Huntington's disease, you're welcome to attend any of these groups. Like I said, the Sacramento group, the Palo Alto group are both, they were both in person pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, Sacramento has kind of gone back in person. We do a hybrid sort of thing. Palo Alto is looking for a new venue, so they will be hopefully in person at some point. Any questions about support groups? You're all gonna go home and sign up, right? Okay, so HD education events, this is one of them. We have local events, we have national events. Most of them are annual. For those of you that have ever been to the national convention, it is coming up here. Oh my God, June 1st, what is that, like 2 weeks away? June 1st through 2nd. It's probably too late to fly to New Orleans, but if you want to, please come. I would love to have coffee and beignets with you. If you can't be there in person, they do offer a remote virtual platform that you can watch it on. And it's really interactive, and it's really nice so you can be part of the convention, but not actually be in New Orleans. Let's see, we have in-person ones, we have video ones, there's webinars, there's lunch and learns, lots of different things. And YouTube is huge. So Hope for HD has a YouTube channel. They're another nonprofit that serves Huntington's families. And HDSA also has a YouTube channel that has a lot of recorded events from the past on there, so you can look up kind of any topic and find out that information. Let's see. Ellie, What education events have you attended? What did you find helpful at each event? And we'll tell the other ones. Go for those two.
So I've attended the convention and it changed my life. The first one
You've attended national convention?
Yes, sorry.
I mean, the local convention has changed your life too. But.
Yeah, sure. I went with Mara, and it was great. It was actually, I used to work at Women's and Children's, and so then I started genetics, and I went with Mara, and it was like my first time. Like, oh, you get to go fly to Baltimore. I'm like, what? Okay. So I get there, and I got all excited. They gave a free bag. And I got, like, my eyes blew up, and the lady's like, oh, you must be new. I'm like, yeah. But I loved it. I went to, like, all the workshops. I did a social work training, and then other social workers from, like, all over, even one from, like, Puerto Rico, and someone from Denmark. I'm like, wow. I mean, it was everything. I can't even, there are no words. You just have to be there to experience it. But I want to go every year. I even attended the ones when it was pandemic virtually, and it was fantastic. So unfortunately, I will not be able to go this year, but that's okay because I'm going to look at the virtual ones. I already signed up, so whatever's open, I'm going virtually. And I attended the walks, which are fantastic. And any other program, I mean, I did my daughter's senior project. I went to attend that. Well, I didn't actually see the video yet. I'll be posting it on YouTube, everyone, so you'll see it. Because I was selling cookies that Elena made for HD. But yeah, anything that's going on, any of the events, they're just wonderful. I think the community itself, because there's not a lot of information out there, some people still don't know what HD is. It's just wonderful to, you know, make sure that everyone learns about it. My daughter teaches everyone at her school. It's funny. She was like, do you know HD? She wasn't sure. I was like, oh my God. But it's wonderful. So that's my experience. It's all been positive.
Thank you. And these are all the people, P.S., that do education events, both locally and nationally. Go ahead.
I think Ron's been to 4, I think I've been 5 national conventions. The first one was very special because my daughter had tested positive for Huntington's, and I said, I want you to meet me in Minnesota. So she flew to Minnesota, and I from Georgia, and I flew from California. And I just remember that was such a wonderful experience, and it is great. But it was even more important was we got this wonderful room and a king bed together, and we talked every night. And it was, so the convention's great. I really think they're wonderful. And as far as all the other things, anything our chapter was having, I've been there. So I really encourage you.
Thank you. Okay.
I haven't attended the national convention, but I have attended events here. I've attended this event in the past with my mom, and we also attended education days at UCSF that were similar to this. I really appreciated learning very specific sort of tips and recommendations from the families and also from the medical providers and hearing information about research. So very specific and useful information and a chance to connect with the community. We also have been to events at Stanford, sponsored by Health, with film screenings. And so those were very nice to view documentaries about Huntington's. And we took some of our friends of the family, because we lived close by, so we were able to take more people to educate them about Huntington's and the condition. And it was just very, really good to be able to involve more people in the event.
Zephyr.
This was my first NorCal education day, but I think 1 week after I initially got hired onto Hopes, I went to, I think it was the first education day that the Stanford Center of Excellence did. I think for me, the value of that was just like, oh my God, this is real. It's like I've been reading about Huntington's frantically in the past week, learning all about it, reading all the scientific literature, but then to actually see, oh, there are people. There's people with HD, there's caretakers, there's researchers, there's a whole community of people involved, and to meet them and to hear their stories really, really locked it in for me. And kind of to see it for people who are affected, but for people who might have one foot out the door, I think it's a great way to shove them in.
To make them fall in love with the
Yes.
HD community, yes.
Lovingly shove them.
Yes, lovingly push them in. Hopes, is Hopes doing an event this year?
Not this year.
Oh, not this year, okay, oh, sorry, I should have asked you that before. Okay, this question is for Ellie. What if I, as an HD family member, want to attend the national event, but I can't afford it?
There's a scholarship program.
Thank you.
I market this every year, like 6 months ahead. I let them know. They're like, where's it gonna be? And even if I don't know yet, I'm like, just go. Because I think it's great, especially if you're a first-time family and you've never gone. You know, I say apply for the scholarships, and if you have children, there's a separate scholarship for them. It's wonderful. It's easy to apply for it, and they help with either airfare, hotel. Everyone who's gotten a scholarship told me that it's just, again, like I said, changed their life. So it's wonderful. I think everyone should try to get the scholarship.
So the scholarships come out, they're from HDSA.org. They come out in around right after the New Year, so January. And usually, I forget, what do you have to write, Mel? You just write your story?
Yeah.
You apply?
I tell people, just put it all in there, put it out there.
So
Don't
there's an
think,
application process, you fill out the application, and then I think, and you have to turn in the application usually by mid-March. So you do, this is something you sort of have to, put on your calendar for January of 2024. To look, it is for first-time attendees, so if you have been before, you won't be able to apply for another scholarship. But they do have scholarships for youth. We have several families here that have utilized the scholarships before. We don't get to decide, otherwise I'd always make Northern California people, I'd give them a scholarship. But anyway, so it's a really good event. So, and it can help supplement. So there's full scholarships, there's partial scholarships, anything. There's everything in between. So it's one way to get to national convention without having to fork out a bunch of money. Some families do make it a vacation. This year it's in New Orleans, so that's a good vacation. No offense to Jacksonville, but it was in Jacksonville one year, and not so much a great vacation place. Anyways, in my opinion. But anyways, so some people do make a vacation. It was in LA in 2018.
Yeah.
So a lot of people came from, across the country, and they made it a vacation, and of course they hit Disneyland and Universal and all those places.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They even had a raffle ticket. If you win, you get to go walk the red carpet for the premiere of Jurassic World. I put in a lot of money because I wanted to meet, Chris Pratt. I didn't win, but a Kaiser patient won, so I was excited.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I
By
saw
proxy,
pictures.
yeah. And then, Ellie, where do they get information about education events?
Well, they can look at HDSA. There's they can go on the website there, and there's also specific to Northern California. And do we have other websites that we're on?
Yes, so you can, Hopes has a website. They'll post education events and things that they're doing there. Help for HD has a website, so they do events all the time, so they will post their events. HDYO, NYA, you can always call me or email me. I do have an email list that I keep of people that are interested in getting information, so any information that I ever get, I send out to my email list. I don't usually, I don't send you an email every day, but there might be one day that I send you like 5 emails, okay? So it kind of just depends, but usually you'll get, 3 to 5 emails from me a month. Like I said, they might be all on the same day, they might be over 5 days. But so if you want to get part of that, email me. I probably have it on here at the end. If not, my business card is out there, and you can email me.
Social media.
And so, thank you.
Social media.
Facebook, Northern California, HDSA has a Facebook page, HDSA National has a Facebook page, Help for HD has a Facebook page, HDYO. Anyways, there's ways to get information. If you are having difficulty getting information, please just call me or Ellie, and we'll help get you connected to who you need. Oh, hi, Jerry. All right, we have fundraising and advocacy events. So these are all the different events that we have done over the years. What time are we at? Oh, we got 6 minutes. Okay, so these are all the events that we've done over the years. If any of you went to Max Moo, he's a board member. Is he still here?
Right here.
Oh, hi, Max. He does advocacy, so some of the biggest things that we need is for people to write letters to their representatives or call their representatives and talk about some of the acts and stuff that we're trying to pass to help you, the HD families. So, but then there's lots of other fun things. My favorite, this is my family, and one of the patients that was there and in the picture is here, but I blocked out her face just because maybe she didn't want to be acknowledged, but anyways, no offense to you. But anyways, so we had a Top Golf event, and I think we're having another one.
June 25th.
June 25th, and it was so fun. If you've never been to Top Golf, you don't have to be a golfer, because I'm not a golfer. Basically, it's like a video game, kind of, and you like are trying to hit the farthest or trying to hit the closest. What?
Like a skee ball, like
Oh yeah, like skee ball.
hitting a-
Yeah. So it's really, really fun. Like I said, you do not have to be a golfer. I am a horrible golfer. I got to play with James, who is the world's okayest golfer, according to him. He was definitely better than I was. So anyways, these are really fun events. Dawn, you went to that event, right?
Yes, I did.
How was that?
It was wonderful, and we participated in the raffle, and we got to go to watch the
Giants.
Game in the top of the suite.
In the suite, in the
We
bougie
won big, and so we love Top Golf, and we'll be there this year too.
And then, Kay, have you been to any of these other events?
I have not,
Okay.
but I know.
But she's signing up tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Zephyr, have you?
I also haven't, but Max and I had a great heart-to-heart earlier about how folks can get more involved in doing advocacy work. So maybe next year I'll have something to say.
Awesome. All right. So, anyways, lots of pros and cons. You get great hugs. You get to play, spend the Sunday playing golf with your HD family here. And it's a good way to get other family members involved. You'll see I have my sassy 6-year-old and my parents there. So it's a good way for them to come and participate and help support all of us. Okay, what time? Oh. Same outfit, Dawn.
I know, I got the same
So there are volunteering opportunities. You can obviously be a board member on the HDSA chapter here in Northern California or Bay Area if that happens to be closer to you. We need help at local events, setting up tables, cleaning up, registering people or checking people in. Planning things, so if you're like a good party planner, we want you so that you can help us plan good parties. If you own a business, you work for somebody that does a lot of donations or provides products, we love those things. We don't particularly have auction items at this event, but at other events we do have auction items. So anything that you're able to share with us or bring to us, we would greatly appreciate it. And then of course if you have skills, so technology skills, definitely needed for today. So if you have that or community connections, really rich people, that's always good. If you know how to DJ, Max, face painting, other entertainment options, we want to hear from you because we want to get you involved. All right. Dawn, why do you volunteer? What does volunteering mean to you?
Well, when I first started volunteering, it was all because of the vet, but she was in Georgia. But I want to tell you, I have met so many wonderful people volunteering with this organization. And it's brought joy to my heart. So I love it.
Thank you. Okay, just for the sake of time, I'm not ignoring you guys. I want to hear what you have to say, except for we don't have time. Okay. Kay, how does one stay present in the moment and enjoy the time they have with their loved ones, HD or not, instead of worrying about what else they have to do or HD disease progression?
I think all sorts of mindfulness practices help you to be able to be present. And for some people it is meditation or walking and hiking or yoga or things like that. But anything that lets you drop in and really notice what's in front of you, and especially to be grateful for what's in front of you. I think that for me, gratitude is how I can access joy in the midst of lots of difficult things. And so being grateful for friends and family, for my animals, for just being able to be alive, right? To be able to read the books that I love or think the thoughts that I have, anything, just to even whatever the ice cream that's in front of me, grateful for that. But that really helps me be present. So thanks.
I think that's a great. Dawn, am I gonna steal this from you? It's the smell the roses, blow out the
Blow out the
candle.
candles.
Yeah, so it's, I mean, technically meditation, but if you're against meditation,
Like
it's
a
not
relaxation, like it's a
Yeah, it's just breathing techniques. So as Dawn says, we're gonna do it together. We're gonna smell the roses, and we're gonna blow out the candle. And honestly, research has shown that if you do that, 3 or 4 times, you don't want to like hyperventilate. Don't be like, that's not going to help you. But you want to do it slow, smell the roses, enjoy the roses, like Kay said, and then blow out the candle. It has been proven to lower heart rates, lower blood pressure, things of that nature. So I have used that a lot. I have a 7-year-old. She's quite sassy. She may have gotten it from me. But anyways, I have smelled the candle, or smelled the candle. I have smelled the roses and blown out the candle in the bathroom, not actually using the bathroom, several times to calm down, right? So it's a good way to just sort of calm down, and it's a good acronym, smell the roses. So you're, like meditation, you're like, what? That seems so hard. What do I do? You smell the roses, you blow out the candle. It's good. Dawn, can you answer this question for me? How does one stay present?
Well, that's a hard question for me. I was going to say that I meditate and I have a calm out, and I love
Oh,
the
yeah,
calm
yeah.
out. So that's one of the ways I stay present is through smelling the roses and blowing out the candles. And another way I stay present, I have a husband over here, and he really stays more present than I do, and I'm always thinking about what can happen in the future and what I can do to make it not happen. And he kind of, he's kind of mean about that and tells me I'm not doing the right thing.
I think he's mean about it.
Yeah, he's mean about it. He says, why are you saying that to me? That's a silly thing to think about right now. So that's who helps me a lot, him.
I love it. Ron helps other people too.
Yes,
It's like-
and he, I know you don't realize this, but I'm a big extrovert and he's an introvert. And so, but he really knows how to speak up when I do that. So
Awesome.
that's how I stay present.
Do you have anything you want to add? Okay, all right. Zeb, anything you want to add? All right. So we are only 2 minutes over. I feel very proud of myself that I only made it 2 minutes over. These are some contacts and resources. You have this in your little goodie bag. That's my phone number, my direct phone number, so you can call and leave me a message. And sometimes I answer the phone too. And then my email address, so if any of you want to email me, you can. You do not have to be a UC Davis employee. You don't even have to live in Northern California. I don't care. I'll answer whatever question you have. This is a good place to find other resources. But if you need help finding resources, please reach out. Any of us are willing to help you. Thank you guys so much for being here.